No practice time, by the way.
Bill, how are you? Nick Moll, EMC.
Nick, nice to meet you. Bill
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate
You're
you.
very welcome. My pleasure. Grab a seat. Make yourself comfortable.
Very excited to be here. I've actually brought my business card with me. Feel free to contact me after this meeting anytime.
Okay, great.
Any questions, please feel free to, just don't hesitate to call.
Okay, thanks.
So I'm curious, Bill, how'd you get into the IT system, department here at Franklin Savings?
I know actually one of the owners, his family, so
Okay,
yeah.
cool. That's awesome.
Helps to know people. You know?
Yeah, exactly. They say the hands you shake are more important.
Exactly.
Okay, so I know we agreed on 10 minutes last time.
Yeah, I wish I had more time for you. Unfortunately, I don't,
All right,
though.
well,
Yeah.
I'll make sure we don't exceed those 10 minutes today. And in order to do that, I've actually set an agenda for today's meeting. I'd like to just ask you a few questions, I guess. Just find out a little more about Franklin Savings IT department. From there, I brought forth a solution today. I hope you don't mind if I take some notes.
No, please help yourself.
Awesome, thank you. And then from there, we can, I guess, mutually decide on the next best step for both of us.
Yeah. Let's see how things go.
Great. Before we start, would anyone else benefit from being here today?
Not at this moment. I'm one of 3 systems admins, so we'll see. I will have to get my boss involved. I'm certainly not a decision maker, so that'll have to happen eventually. But let's see how this goes first, and we'll go from there.
Great. All right. Well, Bill, I know as an IT administrator, you guys are currently dealing with some pretty tough challenges. Obviously, you have to overcome increasing data, and on top of that, for the most part, you have to deal with a pretty flat budget. How are you currently working to overcome that here at Franklin Savings?
Yes, I don't really deal with the budgets all that much. That's Alex, my boss, who
Okay.
deals with the budget. I mean, I do have to watch what I spend, and I have to try to cut costs where I can and things like that. But budget, I don't really concern myself with too much above my pay grade. He tells me what I can spend, and I do my best to follow it.
All right. Awesome. And I have an understanding that you guys are, I guess, looking to move to a new location soon. And I just was wondering, what's the transition process going to be like where IT is concerned?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to have to, I guess, purchase a bunch of new technologies and servers over at the new location, or what's the process there?
That's a good question. Alex has actually tasked me with trying to come up with a roadmap for that. I don't know what that's going to look like right now. I'm kind of struggling with it a little bit. It's certainly something that I'm going to need some help with as far as mapping that out and bringing back some recommendations to Alex.
Right. Okay. So would you say I guess you'd have to? You think you'd have to purchase some new equipment for that new location?
Don't know yet. Probably. I don't know. I want to hire some additional headcount.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what that's going to look like yet.
Right.
And if I could actually stop you, so you know Ginny, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So I was a little surprised. I'll be honest. I grew up in the area. I'm from Massachusetts. I know EMC, and I was a little surprised when she said you'd be stopping by. I mean, we're a pretty small credit union here. I know you guys are a large IT provider. I'm a little surprised you want to waste your time with such a small account.
We get that a lot. EMC, we're actually considered the world's largest data storage technology solutions company. And we work with, believe it or not, a lot of small businesses just like yourself. So I do feel as if our product works just as well with a smaller business like yourself. To move on to, I guess, another subject here, I guess in regards to your budget, what percent would you say of your budget do you use just on maintaining your current systems?
Good question. That's one for Alex.
Okay, Alex.
Yeah, I don't know all the numbers breakdown. I don't know off the top of my head what that looks like.
All right, awesome.
You would know though.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've been asking you a few questions. I know I've been a little bit pushy here, and I don't want to keep that up. So, I guess how would you rate your current system that you're using right now, the direct attached storage?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of an interesting situation. I'm comfortable with what we do, but frankly, I spend far too much time here. I have a family home. I miss my son's football games, and I miss the Pats games on Sundays because I'm always here, and that's a little frustrating. But I am comfortable with what we're managing. So, as part of the recommendation, that's kind of where I'm struggling. Unfortunately, I used to consider myself an IT expert. Unfortunately, I'm not anymore because I'm always here. I'm spending time just keeping the lights on, so to speak, and I don't get a lot of opportunity to research new technology. So that roadmap's going to be key for me to try to figure out how to do this in a more cost-effective manner. Okay,
so after hearing what you've had to say today, I guess what I'm taking from you right now is that time's a huge issue with you right now. And then on top of that, you're looking to cut costs as well. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I mean that's on Alex's radar.
Okay, the cost
Yep,
portion of it?
for sure, yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else I guess I should have uncovered today?
I don't think so.
Okay, great. Let me just write a couple things down here before we proceed. Okay, so I'd like to now show you our data storage system. It's called the VNXE. Before I get into that, though, how much knowledge do you currently have on EMC as a company?
Well, like I said, I used to be up with this stuff, but I don't know much about it.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess we can just get right into the product. I guess you said time is the biggest issue for you right now. And what the VNXE actually allows you to do is, it stores so much data in itself that it limits the amount of resources you actually need to use. So in this case, you might be able to reallocate. You have three IT administrators right now.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to reallocate some of your talents to elsewhere in the business, or even for you, maybe take some time off and catch the occasional football game
Sure.
or something like that. And what it does is it also reduces the amount of servers you need to use. So therefore, if you are moving to a new location, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier for you because it kind of centralizes your IT.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need as many systems over there. And I know this may sound a little bit complex to you, but I actually brought in a little visual for you today, and this is what's called the Unisphere. It's VNXE's dashboard.
Okay.
And it allows you to actually see the whole entire IT environment.
Okay.
And on one screen, it's easy to pinpoint, find out, and fix problems. And at the same time, this also looks a little bit complex, as you can see. So there are also training manuals built right inside of here.
Okay. Yeah, I am a little bit worried about the complexity of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess after what I've shown you today, I kind of want to hear what you're nervous about and what you've liked about what I've showed you today.
I mean, it sounds good. I'll be honest with you. Like I said, I'm not a decision maker, right? So
Right.
I can't tell you whether or not this is something we can move forward with. Next step, I guess, would probably be to talk with Alex.
Okay.
So you can give him a call if you want, and he can kind of run the show from there. I mean, I'm sure he'll involve me from a technology perspective, but I
Right.
can't make any decisions on whether or not that's something we can move forward with.
Absolutely. I would just like to say, before we get out of here, I want to just stick within the 10-minute time range that we agreed on today. Data obviously is increasing at an extremely rapid rate, and by 2020, we're supposed to be 50 times the amount of data we have right now. And for I guess smaller businesses like yourself, I think it'd be really smart to at least explore another option. So
Sure.
if there's any possibility, I'd really like to schedule another meeting with you, or maybe with Alex.
Yeah, if you want to call Alex as admin, you're welcome to do that.
Okay.
And I'm sure he'll involve me in the meeting.
All right, great. So should I just get his phone number then, or?
Yeah, sure. The admin's right outside.
All right.
When you take off here, you can.
Great.
talk
Okay.
to her.
Well, you know what? Thank you so much for the meeting, Bill. I appreciate you having me here today,
Sure
and
thing.
I'll catch you next time.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the time.
All right.